In an unprecedented turn of events, the United Kingdom's highest court has delivered a crushing blow to Prime Minister Starmer, ordering his immediate resignation over a financial scandal that has sent shockwaves across the nation. Just hours ago, the UK Supreme Court released a damning 124-page verdict detailing allegations of financial misconduct, deception, and abuse of public trust. Chief Justice Dame Suka called it a grave ethical breach, signaling a collapse in ministerial integrity. This ruling marks the first time in modern British history that a sitting Prime Minister has been publicly and legally directed to step down by the judiciary. Parliament is in chaos, ministers are in panic, and the press is scrambling. The British public, already disillusioned by years of political instability, is now witnessing what some are calling the biggest political scandal of the century. The damage is profound, and the political landscape has been irrevocably altered. At the heart of the controversy is a £124,000 discrepancy tied to the undervaluation of a property sold by Starmer's family. What initially appeared to be a minor technical irregularity quickly morphed into a full-blown crisis when independent auditors flagged the sale as a deliberate undervaluation to avoid declaring financial gains. Accounting firms raised alarms about the sale price, which was reported to be far below market value. They argued that the financial difference wasn't accidental, it was engineered. Compounding the issue was Starmer's failure to declare the profit in the official register of parliamentary interests, a clear violation of parliamentary rules. But the revelations didn't stop there. Further investigations uncovered a series of hidden financial irregularities. A £39,000 luxury gift from a major legal donor went undisclosed for over a year. Evidence of offshore dealings tied to shell companies in Jersey and the Cayman Islands emerged. Lavish foreign holidays and luxury travel expenses were disguised as research trips. What once seemed like isolated errors now formed a troubling pattern, an intentional strategy to conceal wealth, benefits, and potential conflicts of interest. The Supreme Court's judgment was unyielding, stating, "This Prime Minister has failed the ethical standards required of his office." The verdict has rocked British politics, and the nation now demands accountability. The court's ruling was clear. Starmer had failed to meet the standards required by his office. The omissions and misrepresentations in his financial declarations were not only unacceptable, but a betrayal of public trust. The court concluded that Starmer had breached the ministerial code and misled both Parliament and the British public. His actions compromised the core principles of government transparency and accountability. Inside Number 10, panic is palpable. Advisors have been working tirelessly crafting emergency statements and preparing potential legal countermeasures, but the damage may already be irreversible. In Parliament, calls for Starmer's resignation have reached a fever pitch. Conservative MPs immediately demanded a vote of no confidence. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage issued a statement declaring that Starmer had forfeited his moral right to lead and called for an emergency general election. Even within Labour's inner shadow ministers are reportedly contemplating resignation unless Starmer steps aside voluntarily. The political crisis deepens, and Labour's future now hangs in the balance. An anonymous Labour cabinet source told the press, "This is now untenable. We can't defend this. If Starmer doesn't resign soon, he'll take the entire party down with him." Public fury erupted. Outside Westminster, protesters gathered in large numbers, chanting, "Resign now," and "Clean politics for Britain." The crowd swelled by the hour. On social media, Hashtags like Starmer's candle, hashtag Supreme Court orders, resignation, and #PMJ trended across Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. For many Britons, the scandal confirmed long-held suspicions about corruption at the highest levels of government. Editorial boards from across the media spectrum, from The Guardian to The Telegraph, published scathing critiques demanding Starmer face full accountability. Even the BC, known for its cautious neutrality, ran the headline, "Judicial Bombshell, Supreme Court orders PM to resign." Yet the Prime Minister remains silent. No apology, no resignation, and no clarity. Keir Starmer has not issued a formal statement, press conference, or public apology. Only silence from the man once seen as a beacon of integrity. Insiders suggest Starmer is in a defensive posture, refusing to acknowledge wrongdoing and exploring his next move. His silence has only deepened the crisis as public and political pressure mounts. The question arises whether the court's decision could be constitutionally challenged. Some of his aides argue that the Supreme Court may have overstepped its bounds, blurring the lines between judicial authority and executive power. However, legal scholars overwhelmingly reject this notion. According to constitutional expert Professor Ella Hartley of Oxford University, the court acted well within its limits. Financial misconduct, particularly involving undisclosed interests, falls squarely within its jurisdiction to demand corrective action, even if that means calling for a resignation. The implications, however, may extend far beyond domestic politics. An explosive new report suggests that some undeclared donations received by Star's network may have originated from international law consortiums that previously sought government contracts. If true, this could transform an already damaging scandal into a serious international security issue. MI5 and the Cabinet Office are reportedly conducting parallel inquiries to determine whether foreign entities influenced UK political decision-making through illicit financial channels. Intelligence agencies are now combing through years of encrypted communications and financial records linked to Starmer's campaign team and personal advisors. The outcome remains uncertain, but these investigations could significantly alter the political landscape, with consequences extending well beyond Westminster. As pressure mounts, Starmer's political future is all but financial records linked to Starmer's campaign team and personal advisors. The outcome remains uncertain, but these investigations could significantly alter the political landscape, with consequences extending well beyond Westminster. As pressure mounts, Starmer's political future is all but sealed. The courts have spoken. His party is fracturing. The public is enraged and Parliament is on the verge of collapse. Even the timeline for his departure remains unclear. Will he step down voluntarily in the coming days, or will Labour be forced to oust him to salvage its credibility? Growing pressure for a snap general election only intensifies the uncertainty. Reform UK has surged in the polls, and the Conservatives, recovering from months of internal disarray, are eyeing their opportunity. Meanwhile, Labour risks falling into full-scale implosion if the crisis isn't resolved swiftly. Every path leads to the same conclusion. Keir Starmer can no longer govern. The longer he delays, the greater the damage to his party, Westminster, and the nation's democratic institutions. This isn't just a political scandal. It's a constitutional reckoning. The UK has entered uncharted territory where the rule of law has directly confronted the highest office in the land and prevailed. The world is watching, as are the millions of Britons who once believed in ethical leadership, transparency, and democratic accountability. Whether this marks the end of Starmer's career or the beginning of deeper revelations, is still unknown. One thing, however, is clear. Britain will never be the same again. The public has lost trust in its Prime Minister, and the country faces an uncertain political future. Leadership, discipline, and legal precision have now become the face of scandal, silence, and disarray. The name Keir Starmer, once synonymous with moral clarity, is now etched into the annals of British political disgrace. The Supreme Court's unprecedented ruling ordering the Prime Minister to resign over a $124,000 financial scandal has sent shockwaves through the nation. This is no longer just a political crisis, it's a constitutional meltdown. Starmer's reputation has imploded under the weight of damning accusations and an unforgiving legal verdict. For many, the idea that he can continue to lead is not only unthinkable, it's dangerous. The longer he clings to power, the deeper the damage to public trust, democratic integrity, and Labour's credibility becomes. The Supreme Court's ruling was unambiguous and historic. Chief Justice Dame Suka accused Starmer of repeated obstruction, deliberate opacity, and breaches of the ministerial code. The judgment focused on a $124,000 discrepancy tied to the suspicious undervaluation of a North London family property, with the profit from the sale going undeclared in the official parliamentary register. This decision has left Starmer's future as Prime Minister hanging by a thread. With his ability to lead now deeply compromised, and the nation watching as the crisis unfolds, the property sale was just the beginning. Investigators uncovered a series of hidden financial transactions, including luxury gifts worth over £39,000 from legal donors with offshore connections. Like the property profits, these gifts were not declared, raising serious questions about intent, cover-ups, and ethical conduct.